What's going on, everyone? I'm on my way right now to the Oregon coast, going out to Barview Jetty, and I'm gonna try to get some fish. So the last couple times I've been out here, the visibility has been like 2 to 3 feet max, and it's just been really bad for spearfishing, but I was able to get some nice crab, some red rock crab. So I'm just gonna go out and see what the visibility looks like. Hopefully I can get some fish. I got my eye on some Lingcod, but if not, then I'm just gonna shoot for the red rock crab and call it a day. Because, I mean, coming back with something is better than nothing, right? So, yeah, just wanted to give you guys a little update before I actually get in the water, because whenever I get to the spots, I'm like totally just dialed in to getting my wetsuit on and just jumping in as quickly as possible. So, yeah, I figured I'd give you guys this little introduction and show you the drive that I'm looking at over here. Take a look at this. I'm lucky enough to live pretty close to this spot, but yeah, I still have to drive over the mountains a little bit. Can't complain though. I mean, look at that. It never gets old. So I'll see you guys here in a little bit when I get to the spot. I should also mention that I'll throw in some clips here of the last time I went so you guys can see truly just how bad the visibility was. I did end up walking away with 5 red rock crab. This time I'm gonna try to get some Dungeness. We'll see what happens. We're recording. See. And now I'll take you through the underwater part of this video. And guys, I'm liking what I'm seeing. In case you don't know, the Oregon coast almost never looks like this. In fact, the past like 3 or 4 dives I've done have been like 2-foot visibility. So I'd guess that this is 10 feet, and I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. So this first dive, I'm just kind of looking for any signs of life. Just kind of sticking my head down and looking at the rocks, seeing if there's any fish around there. I'm not going super deep on this one. I don't even know at this point all the action that's to come, because I end up seeing a lot of stuff. You'll see here in a second. So I go down for the second actual dive, and I'm kind of looking around. There's a rockfish there, a couple rockfish, and then lings just everywhere. There's a ling on this rock too, a pretty big one, and I didn't even see him till he started moving. Unfortunately, he got away before I could pull the trigger, but I wanted to take my time and line up a little bit better, and you'll see just how stoked I was. Big ling down there. There was a big ling down there. He escaped into a rock. I was so close. I was gonna pull the trigger, but he just escaped me. And I was like lining up on him, and he swam into a rock. So I'm gonna go back down. There was a few rockfish, but I was like, I'm gonna wait for some bigger ones, because there's a lot of fish down there though, guys. Really? As you could see, I was sharing my excitement there a little bit. My girlfriend was up on the rocks watching me. There was also a group of 3 young fishermen really eager to find out what the conditions were. So now this brings me to the most painful part of the whole day, this massive ling, at least from what I thought at the time seeing it in person. I shot it dead center, perfect shot placement, and it gets off somehow. I shot him, but he got off. Oh man, that was a big one. That's a bummer. Yeah, you could see just how big of an L that situation was. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't just dying inside right now. But I'm not losing hope just yet. I mean, how much worse does it really get than losing a ling like that? So I go set up for the next dive. And yeah, I kind of have some knowledge of what's down there now at this point, and I'm even more excited. Annoyed and excited. I'd say it's a 50-50 of both, but I go down here and I'm seeing some rockfish, some good schools of rockfish, which is a great sign. And I'm kind of just looking for the biggest one at this point. So I see something off in the distance. Of course, the GoPro effect is going to make it look a lot smaller. Mind you, none of these fish today were like monstrous fish. I've shot some bigger ones in Newport, and there were some here as well. Not to say this is a bad area because it's awesome, but just what I saw that day, there wasn't any like massive ones that stood out to me. So I did end up landing this one, and I'm swimming it back to shore so that I can quickly dispatch it and get it on the float line, and you'll see what happens. So you'd think that I have this fish 100% on lock. Well, I was wrong. I stupidly take the spear out of it before putting it on the float line, and this happens. Oh, no! I'm making a last-ditch effort to look for it here, thinking that I can somehow find it, but yeah, no luck. All I can say is at the time, this felt like the end of the world with 2 back-to-back L's. That is the dumbest thing I've ever done. Frustrated and rushed, I get my fin stuck in between 2 rocks, and at this point, I'm just fiending to get back down there for another fish. There's only one way to make up for those 2 massive L's that I took earlier, and at this point, I'm kind of just hoping for anything, so I'm not being as picky. And in the first part of this dive, for like the first 15-20 seconds, I'm not even seeing anything, but then I see this guy, and I decide to take the shot, and I land it. And you already know I'm not making that same mistake twice with the stringer. Now that one small fish is all a man needs to be excited about the entire rest of the spearfishing day. So with this dive and a new mindset, I go back down looking for my next rockfish, or hopefully Lingcod. But yeah, I'm just swimming along the bottom, and I'm kind of getting a little bit more comfortable at this point with going deep. I don't know if you guys just saw that, but there was a big blue rockfish down there in the corner that swam under a rock. But I come across a school of black rockfish and take the shot on this guy, and I barely just nicked the top of his fin. Didn't even get him, so a miss, but not necessarily a massive deal yet. With the proper rest time in between, I go right back down for another dive, and I'm seeing a lot of good black rockfish activity at this point, and this is where I take what I think is my best shot of the day. He was just right there, pretty decent size for what there was, and headshot. I secure him and bring him back up to the surface. Now the roll has started. You just saw my stringer. It had a couple fish on it, and I'm going back down again. And yeah, the visibility is kind of decent at this point. For some reason it doesn't look as good on video as like the first few dives, but just past those 2 rockfish, and for some reason I decided not to take the shot. I don't know if I was expecting to see something else, but I'm kind of just looking around at this point. Nothing's really catching my eye, so I just head back up.
Whew. And it's just me catching my breath. I'm so pissed about the Lingcod at the beginning. Like, that to me is the largest L that I've ever, and then the massive rockfish to follow it up, land it, and then I fail. What? On the float? No, I'll get a few more. I was being picky. I could have gotten another one just now, but yeah. I know. Still, but it's like,
well, as you could tell, I was way over-exaggerating the size of the fish that I had shot. To me, they looked like monsters at the time, but obviously looking back on it, there's a lot bigger that exists out there. So here I am going back down for another dive, and I take the shot on this guy, and I just flat out miss. I know this looks like a lot of misses, and quite frankly it is, but I still had a really productive day. And I wanted to make sure to show you guys the fails as well. But in conditions like these on the Oregon coast, failure doesn't last long. So I'm already scanning the ground and the rocks for more lingcod, because I saw those ling at the beginning of the video on the first parts of my dive, and I was hoping to see more of those at this point. So I'm looking around, and I actually ended up seeing quite a few over the course of this whole dive, but they were all undersized. I'm just happy to have gotten so much quality dive footage out of this, fish or not, every dive, because yeah, it was just kind of a treat being able to film better summer conditions. This is pretty typical for wintertime, but being able to see all these fish and kind of just what it looks like down there on the jetty is always a fun time. If you've been following my channel, you'll know that I absolutely love marine life. As much as I love hunting the fish underwater and getting food out of it, seeing all the life down there is just as exciting to me. That being said, let's get another rockfish. I'm trying to get lucky here and come across a school of rockfish. And I see one out in the distance, which is a good sign, and turn my head, and there they are. I end up choosing the one I want and taking a shot. Again, there were no monsters shot on this day, but it's all about the consistency that brings excitement. And then maybe next time I can get those bigger fish. So you've seen most of the important parts of the dive where I get the most fish, and this is going to be one of them. You'll see right away with the amount of activity that I come upon. But yeah, this was actually the last dive that my GoPro recorded before it died, but honestly, it's a good way to end it off. Next time I'll know, though, to bring an extra battery in like a little waterproof bag. I'll probably just bring it with me. But yeah, this one was not a headshot. Still landed the fish, though. You'll see here. A solid 5 medium-sized rockfish. Made for a great meal. Can't complain. Alright, now for some bonus footage. Recorded a few weeks prior in a lot murkier conditions. This is going to be some crabbing footage. to show you guys just how bad the visibility is compared to what it was in the previous footage. This is what I've been used to dealing with all summer, and I'm still kind of on the beginner side of spearfishing, so you know, the better conditions really make a night and day difference for me. I'm sure there's some guys out there who can shoot some massive Lingcods in like 1 foot visibility, but I'm just not there yet. I'll get there very soon, but exposing myself to different types of conditions is all I can really ask for. And as you can see here, I end up finding a crab. And most importantly, it's a male. So the camera really doesn't do it justice, but I ended up getting really lucky on this trip and only finding male keepers, which is pretty rare if you ask me. I was only expecting to really find red rock crab, which don't actually have any size limitations, and you can keep both male and female. But Dungeness is a little bit pickier. They have to be of size for Oregon, and yeah, you can only keep the male one. So yeah, just getting pretty lucky overall with what I found. This little pocket that I'm in right now is really good practice because it's kind of on the medium depth side, and there's some really forgiving landscape around it where I can just easily get out and little to no waves or anything. This is my second time specifically here in this little pocket of the bay that I'm in, and I was kind of expecting to find crab, but I had my spear gun with me just in case, because you never know what you're going to find. A lot of guys were actually catching fish around me from land with their fishing poles, so I had hoped that I was maybe going to find something, but unfortunately that didn't happen. Luckily, though, I didn't come home empty-handed on these days. I had crab to look forward to. And as you see here, another male Dungeness. Take a look at that. And you're going to see here in a second on the next drop, I get another crab yet again, another male keeper. And what's kind of interesting to note is that at this time, I'm only ever diving with one GoPro battery. And those batteries are only lasting about an hour at the resolution that I'm shooting at. So you can only imagine, you know, how fast I'm finding all these crabs. Like, pretty lucky if you ask me with these conditions. The Dungeness are a bit more bold, I've found, in terms of kind of pinching me when I grab them. The red rocks kind of just left me alone, except for one of them, which you'll see the footage for here in a little bit. But yeah, this area is great for going down to the bottom and having that flat sand bottom that I can swim across, basically just looking around for any sign of life, any crab, any fish swimming along the sides on the rocks. And even in visibility like this, it actually clears up a little bit at the bottom. I've noticed with pretty much anywhere that I'm spearfishing in Oregon, it does get a little bit clearer at the bottom, so you can expect that. It's really just getting down to those depths that's not super fun in this visibility. But here you'll see this is a different day. This is the red rock crab day. Literally the same spot. This guy in particular was kind of feisty. And as I go to bag him, I'm pretty sure this is a baby monkey face eel. This area, from what I've heard, is kind of well known for monkey face eel activity. I have yet to see one, but the fishermen who were right beside me actually caught 3 the day before, they said. As a group, but still, that's kind of impressive if you ask me. And this is my favorite red rock crab find of the day. I'm in the shallows and I just find 2 of them right here. I'm feeling pretty lucky at this point with my finds and just excited that I'm going to take something home, even if it's not fish. Who doesn't love crab? That concludes the footage of keepers that I found on this day for red rock crab. I actually ended up finding another one later on, which you'll see, but it wasn't alive, unfortunately, and it was probably on the smaller side, so probably wouldn't have been a good idea to take it back anyways. But yeah, if you guys like this spearfishing content, this is kind of a new addiction that I've formed, so expect to be seeing a lot more of this content, obviously along with the aquarium stuff that you guys already know. But yeah, I'll be doing a lot more of these dives because I really just like getting out there in the ocean and learning more about my local marine life and kind of just everything that the ocean around me has to offer. But yeah, to conclude, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.